What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Vivid Iceland and welcome to 2025. It's the first episode of the year and I'm back in my favorite place in all of Iceland, the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Regular viewers of my channel will probably know I've been here quite a few times. This is episode 5 now out here in the peninsula and where it's, quite snowy, as you can probably see. We're in the middle of winter, so we're going to be checking out, what we can see and do here, where we can go. So if you're ready for this, strap in, we're going to hit the road and get exploring. It was exactly 3 years ago to the day since my last winter video in Snæfellsnes, so I decided it was time to get back out here to make the most of the incredible weather. Unlike the last episode, however, this time round there is snow all over the place, making access to some of the best spots a little bit difficult. On this day, we kick things off with the always popular Búðakirkja. I've gone into depth about the history of this church in the very first Snæfellsnes episode, which I'll link up the top now. But another great attraction to this place are the numerous hiking trails that take you through the massive lava field that sits adjacent to the church. Known as Búðahraun, this lava field was formed over 8,000 years ago when the volcano Búðaklettur erupted. You can see the remains of this volcano sitting off in the distance just here. Within these lava fields you'll find over 130 different plant species, but obviously not now in the winter. So put this place on your list of things to see once the snow melts. As it is the middle of winter, you don't get much daylight during this time of year, so I would recommend planning your trip wisely if you want to make the most of each day. Okay, so making the most of the daylight, we are back at Ytri Tunga. So I featured this in the last, 3 episodes, episode 2, 3 and 4 we're out here. So I'm back again. This is one of my favorite spots on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. And well, since the last time I was here, quite a lot has changed. The road into the area is a lot better. There's a proper parking lot and there's a couple of walking trails as well that sort of take you up and down the beach here. So the only downside to this is you're going to pay to park now. But just keep that in mind if you're planning to visit this area. And check out the seals, because that is the #1 attraction here at the beach. I was looking around initially when we first got here. Couldn't really see all that much in the way of seals, a couple of ducks hanging about, but we just spotted 2 of them sunbathing just over there. So I'm going to try and get a little bit closer, grab a bit of footage of them. With the sun slowly setting now, the seals on the rocky shore seem to be making the most of these last few precious rays of light before the cold night sets in. I've always managed to spot seals when I visited the beach, no matter the season. But I would have to say there are definitely more in the summertime. So keep that in mind when planning a trip here, especially if you're an avid seal watcher. Okay, making a quick pit stop here at Selvallafoss. I featured this one in episode 2 when I came out here, that must have been 2 or 3 years ago now. So I'm going to pop on over, check it out, enjoy the peacefulness, the tranquility out here. It is absolutely beautiful today. Virtually no wind, clear skies, incredible sun falling on the mountains over there. Let's go check out this waterfall. We had no problems accessing this location despite the snowy mountain road leading us here. The tiny unmarked parking lot on road 56 was easy to drive into, even though there were some small snowbanks by the entry and exit points. Definitely worth a stop. Now there is a very small hiking trail that you can sort of take, skirting along the edge of the waterfall here. I'm just going to swing the camera around. You can see that there, leading all the way to the waterfall just over there. Now, probably not something I'm going to take today. As you can see, it's a bit of a drop down into the freezing water over there. So I'll just admire it from afar and enjoy the incredible landscapes just over this way. Take a look at this.
Wow, what a day out here. I think I'm gonna pop back into the car now and we'll make our next stop out at Stykkishólmur. Let's go. Okay, well, we made it to Stykkishólmur, but yeah, it appears most of the food places here are closed. You can see there's a little fish and chip shop down there. Just having a look quickly on Google Maps and also peering into some of the windows around here. It's yeah, rather quiet, but beautiful town, beautiful location, very fisherman vibe, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can probably see quite a few boats behind me, and in fact there's a very large ferry just over there as well, which takes you into Breiðafjörður, and eventually you can get up to the Westfjords. And I'm not going to make them out in the distance. I'm just going to swing the camera around over here. You take a look all the way on the horizon just over there. That's the Westfjords, and yeah, that's some place hopefully we're going to get to this summertime. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep your eye open for that one. Anyway, I think we might head back in the car. Gonna pop into Bonus, grab a bit of food before making our way back to the accommodation tonight at Arnarstapi. So let's do it. Right, the sun is just about setting now. We're on our way home to Arnarstapi for the evening. We got our food from Bonus, which is good because yeah, there wasn't really anywhere else to eat in town here. Anyway, before we make our way back home, we're going to take a quick stop here at the church at Stykkishólmur. And it's, well, quite interesting looking, very modern for such a small, quaint fishing village here on the northern edge of the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. But yeah, pretty interesting to look at. Might be worth checking out in the summertime, I think. Not really much to see here at the moment in the winter. Anyway, let's head on back to Arnarstapi.
Driving home through the mountain pass got a little sketchy at times due to the wind picking up and blowing lots of dry, powdery snow across the road. We also drove into some freshly formed snowbanks on a bridge close to the end of this mountain pass. Wintertime can be stressful to drive in Iceland, so take care, as we did spot one large tourist bus driven off the road into the snow, as well as one camper van. If you are planning to rent a car in Iceland, make sure you stick around until the end of the video where I'll provide you with a link to grab a nice little discount.
It's another beautiful day out here on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Behind me, Snæfellsjökull in the sunrise, absolutely spectacular. Right now we are stopped at Lóndrangar, a couple of sea stacks jutting out into the ocean here. Of course, they were formed from an ancient eruption many, many years ago. Just going to walk up the path here and check it out. I can see the sun is slowly peeking over the hillside here. I think it's going to be really, really nice. Let's go take a look.
And what a sunrise it was! Absolutely perfect weather for a short stroll up to the viewpoint here. Again, no issues with accessing this beautiful natural feature. The road was easily drivable and the parking lot was accessible by any car. Just be careful on the icy footpaths.
So there are a couple nice viewpoints here on the edge of the sea cliffs, but be careful in the winter. It is very slippery. I would recommend bringing a good set of micro spikes or a small crampon, something like that. But it's pretty nice out here, especially when you have the sun, well, setting, I guess, at this time of day. It's already beginning its way down. Absolutely stunning out here.
This did seem to be about as high as the sun would get during the early days of January, and we were quite lucky to have such clear skies during the week or so we spent out here on the peninsula. These were perfect conditions for photography and drone flying. The long golden hours in the morning and early afternoon are nothing short of spectacular, especially when combined with the pure white layer of snow covering the iconic lava fields of this magical country. And of course, we cannot forget the namesake of this peninsula, Snæfellsjökull. This volcano has got to be one of the most attractive mountains in the country, with a delicate snow layer draped over the mountain slopes. The geological features are remarkably accentuated, especially when the sun hangs low on the horizon. With my hands slowly freezing to the drone remote, we decided it was time to get back in the car and continue our way around the peninsula.
Whew. Okay, so Our next stop on the list is Saxhóll. Very big, extinct volcanic crater. If you watch some of the older videos, I think episode, might have even been the first episode, I think episode 4 as well. I came out here. Oh, I think episode 3. Anyway, can you get here in the winter? The answer is yes. It appears that the northwestern side of the Snæfellsnes Peninsula gets a little bit less precipitation, or at least it's a little bit warmer, because there's not as much snow here as there is around on the southern edge, especially around Arnarstapi, where we're staying. So yeah, it is possible to get up here. Beautiful as usual. Clear day, clear skies. Snæfellsjökull in the distance, just over there. Well, I've got to catch my breath. It's quite a few steps up now. Anyway, let's have a bit of a look around.
Saxhóll is always a great little spot to jump out and stretch your legs. You will likely spend around an hour here at the most, especially if the weather is nice. However, I do prefer this place in the summer versus the winter, as there is certainly a lot more color to be appreciated. You can't really see much of the beautiful red rocks and green moss during this time of year, as you can, well, probably see here. But the wintry conditions do make it worth a little peek if you are so inclined.
So the sun is slowly setting out here on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, and I'm back at one of the locations that I visited, I believe in the second episode out here, the Svörtuloft Lighthouse, which I've just had a quick read about, and it's also known as the Skálasnagi Lighthouse. The reason for the two names, apparently, is because you can see it both from the land and from the sea. So yeah, quite interesting. I never really encountered a lighthouse with two names before. But here you are in Iceland, I guess. Anyway, it's one of these typical, beautiful orange lighthouses that really stands out here on the sea cliffs on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. Let's have a look around.
With the daylight quickly running out at this point, we made the most of it and had a quick stroll around the lighthouse and down to the cliffside viewpoint.
Now, there is quite a beautiful viewpoint out here on the edge of the sea cliffs. And I guess your question might be, can I get out here in the winter? Well, the answer is yes, because I am out here in winter at the moment. But you will need a 4x4, and you will need to check on the status of the road if it is drivable. So we were quite lucky this time, because it had appeared that, it snowed. Snow got blown away, things melted, refroze, and so we were driving on a nice sort of smooth, icy road. So yeah, check you got a good 4x4. And also studded tires, because you probably will need it out here. Anyway, let's have a look over the edge of the cliffs here and admire the scenery.
It was very peaceful at this time of day, and we were alone for most of our time here, which was fantastic. In the summertime, I would like to visit the other lighthouse, which is located on the northernmost point of these sea cliffs, so make sure you're subbed to the channel to get notified when I make it out there. The sun was now officially gone for the day, so we started our drive back to Arnarstapi to relax for the night. Once again, another beautiful sunrise greeted us the following day at our next stop.
So as you can see behind me, Kirkjufell just over there, Kirkjufellsfoss right in front of me, just over this way. Is it worth checking out in the winter? I would say yes, though at the moment it is very cold, so most of the waterfall is in fact nearly frozen over, to be quite honest with you. But it is worth bringing micro spikes or little crampons. This is probably the first place that I've been to, at least on this trip to Snæfellsnes, where I've actually needed to put them on, because it is very icy, and I suspect that's because so many people come here and walk on the snow, compact it down, and it just becomes very, very hard and difficult to walk on. So keep that in mind. Also, I think since my last trip here, they've changed a few things with the parking lot. You got to pay now, and it is 1,000 krona for a full day pass. So keep that in mind if you want to explore this part of Snæfellsnes. Anyway, let's take a look at this waterfall.
During my last winter trip here to Snæfellsnes, I don't actually recall seeing the waterfall this frozen. At the time of filming, we had endured an incredible cold spell in Iceland, with multiple weeks now below freezing temps. This has no doubt led to the waterfall nearly freezing over completely, with only a few small cascades flowing behind these magnificent icy shells. The wind and clouds started to roll in after our time at Kirkjufell, so we decided to cut short this day out and head back to our accommodation at Arnarstapi. Along the way we made a short detour to the waterfall Svöðufoss, which I visited for the first time in episode 2. Well, it was quite windy at this point, so I didn't really want to walk all the way to see this waterfall again. Instead, I just shot the drone up and captured what I could in the dying light.
There's nothing quite like a crisp winter morning sunrise. Gonna wrap the day up here in Arnarstapi before we make our drive back down to the south coast of Iceland. And well, what a beautiful day it is. It's currently almost 11 a.m. The sun still hasn't peaked over the horizon yet. And we're just enjoying basically the coastline of Arnarstapi all to ourselves. There's no one here. So this might be the best time to come, I'd say, if you're interested in being alone, maybe grabbing some photos. Wintertime, 10:30 a.m., just as the sun is peaking over the horizon. Great time to check out Arnarstapi. Almost at the viewing platform here, so let's go see what we can find.
I gotta say, I wasn't expecting the sea cliffs and basalt formations here to look like this. In the past, I've seen some powerful swell crashing upon the rocks, so I would have thought most of the snow would have been, well, washed away rather than frozen onto the intricate basalt columns that make up the coastline.
It's been a bit of a struggle getting through some of these walking paths here. You got a lot of snow blowing across the trails. Check this out. So if you are planning to visit in the winter, you know, bring good warm hiking boots and be prepared to deal with some extreme snow. But this is beautiful. I think the sun is almost peaking over the horizon here. Gonna check out one final viewing platform and we might head back home.
Summer out here is of course vastly different, with a lot more bird life and greenery adorning these basalt structures, but it is certainly worth a visit in the winter, especially when you have the entire coastline to yourself and such stunning weather to accompany it. It was a shame to have to leave today. I could have certainly stayed on for another day or two here.
Now, a little advice I can give you guys if you are planning a trip to Iceland this winter, it would be to rent a 4x4. It's been a couple of times driving around the peninsula and through some of the mountain passes here in Snæfellsnes, where I've been very happy to have a 4x4. And if you are looking to do so, get in touch with my friends over at Blue Car Rental. I've got a link in the description where you'll get 5% off your next rental here in Iceland. And well, rental cars are quite expensive here in Iceland, so 5% off can go a long way. You might be able to treat yourself to a nice lamb roast somewhere at one of these nice restaurants here in Iceland. Anyway, let's keep on looking throughout Arnarstapi, enjoying the sunrise. Still hasn't risen, check it out. Anyway, let's see what else we can find out here.
Now, right as I was about to venture further along the coastline to explore a little more of Arnarstapi, tragedy struck. I could see my dad in the distance waving urgently at me to come over. So I started running through the snowbanks and arrived to see my mum lying on the ground clutching her leg. She wasn't wearing micro spikes, unfortunately, and she slipped on the icy footpath and broke her leg. So my dad and I had to help her up back to the car, where we waited for the ambulance to arrive and take her to the closest hospital, which was about 2 hours drive away. So this certainly is not the best way to end your winter vacation here. And like I've said multiple times throughout the video, please remember to bring your micro spikes or little crampons to Iceland in the winter and stay safe. With all this happening, I couldn't film any more of Arnarstapi nor an outro to the video, as I had to follow the ambulance to the hospital and take care of my mum. So thanks to everyone for sticking around to the end of the video, and if you want to wish my mum a speedy recovery, you can do so in the comments below. I'm sure she will enjoy reading them all. One final thing, remember to jump over to my website vividiceland.is if you are planning to visit this year. I'm running long glacier hikes and ice climbing tours this summer, so book now so you don't miss out. I'll see you all in Iceland, and if not, I'll see you in the next video.